Anytime a guy tells me like, "Oh, I just wait on choosing signals, I get mad chicks," I'm just like,
the lie detector determined that was a lie.
5 reasons to stop waiting for choosing signals and start cold approaching. 1. It's a numbers game.
You just don't understand the numbers, right? If you were a door-to-door vacuum salesman, this is what you would be. You'd be a door-to-door vacuum salesman that you've got your fucking vacuums, you got your little suitcase, you're knocking on doors, and you expect that every other door that you knock on, someone's gonna buy a vacuum, okay? Or that they're just gonna see you walking down the street and try to buy a vacuum off of you. That's what some of you guys think. Where in the reality is you need to knock on 200 doors to sell 1 vacuum.
So let's say that you're closing 5%, right? Then Chad is only closing twice as much as you. So if Super Chad Guy goes out and he's looking for choosing signals or whatever, right? Let's say he approaches 5, okay? But let's say that you go out and you approach 10, you're gonna get just as good results as him. But if you approach 20, you're gonna get twice as good results. So you could just be average dude with good game, and you could get twice the results of Chad just by, it's not even a huge amount increase in volume. One number I throw out, curious to see what you think about this, is I usually tell guys that are brand new, you're gonna have to do 300 approaches to get 1 result. Maybe it'll happen faster, but that's probably a reasonable, like if you haven't done 300.
I think that's a very honest assessment, especially if someone that's a beginner. Because the first 50 to 75 is gonna be him just stuttering and like sweating and trying to get the heebie-jeebies out of him. I always say, you wanna see a man's character, put a really hot girl in front of him and tell him go approach her and say hello, introduce yourself, and you'll see what that guy's made of immediately.
Oh yeah, yeah.
2. Don't rely on luck. Develop skills.
You're gonna meet girls from time to time that are just gonna be these, what I call gimmies. If a girl is like in the right mood, maybe she just watched Titanic or The Notebook and now she's at the club and she sees you and like, shit, you look like Jack. You're the one. You know, to me, that's not really choosing signals. It's just, I got a little lucky. Every once in a while, everybody throws 7s, but you have to develop a skill set. The more skills you have, the higher closing ratio will be. It's a numbers game to a certain degree. When you have more skill, obviously your closing ratio will go up dramatically.
I really like to compare a lot of life to poker. It's luck and skill, and it's a balance of the two. And the higher your skill is, the more that you'll be able to utilize that luck. But sometimes you're gonna make a bad play and you're gonna get lucky and win the pot because you just happen to get dealt a full house or whatever. You're gonna win no matter what you bet. And sometimes you're gonna make a perfect play. You're gonna play perfectly and you're gonna lose because that's just how the luck factor goes. But the skill level in the long game determines your outcome, your EV.
3. Be a predator, not a prey.
So what are you going to do? You're going to be an alpha guy by just standing there and not making anything happen? No, you're going to be an alpha guy by going up and making shit happen, by going up and talking to girls, right? It's not beta to go up and start conversations. You say, oh, well, it's chasing women, it's chasing. No, you are a hunter, okay? You're the predator and she's the prey. Being the predator does not make you beta, going after the prey.
If I'm waiting for permission from a woman to go up, how am I putting myself in the dominant position there?
They're saying you're giving her free validation and chasing.
But she's the one who's deciding that, though. You're waiting on her. A guy who waits on women and seeks permission from women to go up and talk to them, to go to the bathroom. Honey, is it okay if I leave? Is it okay if I walk up and approach you? Are you giving me choosing signals? I don't think that's very alpha at all. Waiting for permission. And if you're the type of guy who does that, you're probably going to be waiting for a long time. If I was only going to wait for choosing signals, the number of women that I would have slept with is like would have been minuscule. Most of the women that I talked to, they didn't know I was there. But when I walked up and I showed myself, I showed the characteristics of a high-value guy. Because of that, they were interested. But if I hadn't walked up and talked, I don't think I would have gotten any choosing signals or anything. The example that I gave, there was another girl who was even hotter than the 2 models. She didn't give me no choosing signals too. In fact, she actually saw me and turned the other way. Like, she was actually mean to me at the beginning. And yeah, is it better if you get a choosing signal? Absolutely, obviously. Like, if a girl actually makes eye contact with you and smiles, like, that's the best thing. I get that very rarely, but I'm always successful when I go out, so.
4. The cream of the crop ain't giving you no choosing signals.
There's really 3 types of women that you'll ever come across out there. There's yes girls, maybe girls, and no girls. Most of the girls you come across are going to be no girls or maybe girls. And really, the point of game is turning them from no and maybe girls into yes girls. You're just turning them into buyers pretty much. It's no different if you're working for selling cars on a dealer lot. Most of the people who come in are not going to be like, yep, that one. Where do I write the check? Every once in a while, you'll get that. They know what they want. Oh, cool. Just sign the paperwork. Done. But most of the people who come on need to be convinced. They need to be sold. And so when it comes to the no and maybe girls, I could think of the hottest girlfriends I ever had. The hottest girls that I dated through cold approach. Not any of them were ever yes girls. None of them were yes girls. The ones that were pretty easy, yeah, they were yes girls. The ones that I wasn't really crazy about, they were okay looking. Yeah, they're yes girls. You come across that from time to time, but you're not gonna really get the cream of the crop.
5. Look cool or get laid, your choice.
I know it feels comfortable to say that, oh yeah, I only do choosing signals. And I know that makes you feel good because you're afraid to go and do cold approach, and it puts you in what you perceive as a weaker position, which it does. There's some vulnerability because you're facing a rejection, true enough, but it's not going to get you results, right? In fact, the guys that I know that get the most results are the guys that are most unabashed in their cold approaching. They're the ones that run cold approach all the time. It doesn't matter the circumstance, it doesn't matter the girl, they just fucking go after it. Those are the guys that get the most results, and not only the most results, but the best results, the highest quality results. So that's ultimately what it comes down at the end of the day, right? It's not about what you think about yourself or how you look doing it. It's about actually accomplishing the goal. If you're one of those guys that is claiming that choosing signals is the way to go, I want to know exactly how your night goes. And then I want to know what you do after you open. How are you pulling there? Are you just getting the number and your number closing? And you're like, oh yeah, she gave me choosing signals and I number closed and I'm the shit. I think you're missing a whole part of game, because the guys that I'm working with, they're pulling on that night and they're doing that from a cold approach, not from a choosing signal approach. So if you think that you got the number and you're being successful, you're full of shit. You're not successful at all. That number isn't worth shit. 1 out of 20 numbers is good. 19 of them are going to flake for most guys, okay, unless you're really good.
You could wait for choosing signals if you want to. If your goal is to reduce your success to approach ratio, you want to keep that as high as possible. I guess that would be the right move to make. Some of these guys who are saying this, they have to make a decision. Do they want to look cool, or do they want to get laid or have a relationship? That's the real question, I think.
The only thing I would disagree with you on about that is that, in my opinion, you look a lot more cool with a girl on your arm than a drink in your hand, clutched to your chest. But
yeah, no, I agree. Did it sound like I was not saying that?
I was just joking.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dude, that joke went right over my head.